mess with my mind.
Kid tricks!
You can pull my eye, but don't mess with my mind.
Kid tricks! Kid tricks! Kid tricks! Kid tricks!
Let me ask you a question. How many of you get the newspaper at home, right? Everyone gets the newspaper. You got all kinds of stories in the newspaper. You got sports stories and stories about business. Your moms clip out coupons, right? Your moms will clip out coupons. Well, every once in a while, you'll get a story in the paper about somebody who says they have some kind of a power. In other words, they say that they can read your mind. In other words, if you thought of something, they can tell you exactly what you're thinking. Or somebody will say that they can predict the future. In other words, they can tell you what's going to happen before it happens. Well, as an investigator of people who say that they have different types of powers, you know what I do? I have to take all the pieces of the puzzle and try and put them together, and I have to try and figure out if what we're seeing is either a trick or if it's a power. And I think this one was actually a pretty good trick, don't you? Is that pretty good? Thank you. With a push of the button, I can make most anything disappear from sight. But becoming a good magician isn't quite that simple. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice. Hi, I'm Danny Corum. And you know one question people always ask me? Danny, are there any magicians who really have powers? I mean, is everything that you do a trick? Well, I can tell you there aren't any magicians who really have powers because everything that we do is a trick. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who say they have powers who don't. In my work, I try to find out what's real and what isn't. This man, James Hydra, claimed to have special mind powers where he could move things without touching them, like pencils. Later, we'll find out how he fooled scientists into believing that he had powers. Today, most of my time is spent as a journalist, which is kind of like a TV reporter. I take my camera crew and we go out and film people who say they have powers to check out the facts. It's my job to find out if they really have powers or if they're just faking it. If they really do have powers, well, we'll be able to see their powers on camera, so there's no chance of making a mistake. And of course, if they're faking it, well, they get caught. So this is what we're going to take a look at. How can people trick us into believing in powers that they don't have? Let's find out by starting in Dallas, Texas, where I live. Texas is the second biggest state in the U.S., and Dallas is one of its biggest cities. At this luxurious hotel, a psychic fair was held. Over 1,000 people on a Sunday afternoon came out to see what are called psychics, people who say they have special mind powers. Every person pays $5 to get in, and then they have to pay each psychic that they want to see. I know you're probably thinking, what exactly is a psychic? Well, a psychic is a person who thinks they have special mind powers. Some say they can tell you what you're thinking without you telling them, like reading your mind. Others will tell you that they can predict the future, which means they can tell you what's going to happen before it actually happens, like telling you the score of a football game before it's played. And some psychics say they can move objects without touching them. Are their powers real, or are they just faking it? Let's look at some footage we shot at the psychic fair and find out what they're doing. This person says that by looking at the lines in your hands, she can tell you what is going to happen to you. She is called a palm reader. Here's another one. This person takes weird and bizarre-looking cards called tarot cards that look like this. She thinks that by turning them over and explaining what they mean, she can also tell you what will happen before it happens. You'll notice that the people who go to these psychics are pretty normal-looking. Most believe that the psychics really have powers. They come to see the psychics because they're just curious, or they have a problem they hope the psychic can help them solve. Now the question is, do they really have powers? Scientists for over 50 years have tried to find out if our brain really has these kinds of powers. And you know what? They've never found any powers like the psychics say they have. You see, the psychics are faking it. They don't really have powers. And by using clever tricks, they can fool people into believing in powers that they don't have. Watch this next trick I did for some adults, where I use these symbols that scientists have used for years in their experiments to find out if you and I really have ESP, which stands for extrasensory perception. It means the same thing as psychic mind powers. I am going to deal out 10 symbols. A star, 3 wavy lines, a bacon strip or guy burning rubber, a cross, a square, a circle, and we'll repeat this. What I am going to do is deal 1 card at a time from the bottom, 1 symbol at a time. Now, Kathy, if you think the card is going to match, I want you to, make a guess.
Okay.
then I will deal the card flush across the cards like this. Mike, if you don't think the card's going to match, you know, in your guess, I'll deal across the cards like this. You ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
So we speak up when we think it's going
Yes.
to match.
So right here, Kathy, what you think it'll match or not match?
Not match.
It won't match? Okay, Mike? Next, this one.
Match.
You think this one will match? Okay. This one?
Match.
Match? This one?
No.
This one won't. And this one?
No.
You don't think this will?
No.
Next one? You think this will match?
Yes.
This one?
No.
You don't think it will match?
No.
This one?
Yes.
You think it will? This one?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And the last one?
No.
No. All right. You're pretty decisive in that.
Oh, yes. I'm very sure of that last one.
I can see you were straining yourself there. Almost got a hernia. Look. Well, let's take a look at the ones that you said wouldn't match.
Okay.
If they don't, that's no big deal. Those don't match. None of those match. Well, still, that's pretty good that none of them matched. Those the ones that you said wouldn't match. Let's see how the ones that you said would match. Let's see how you fared. Those two matched.
That's incredible.
Those two matched.
Oh, way.
And so did the last one. Now, am I in a roll? The reason everyone's laughing is because they know that what they're seeing is a trick. I wouldn't lie to them and say that I had a power that I really didn't have. Now, remember the folks at the psychic fair? The men and women who said they are psychics? Well, they want people to believe they have power so they can make money. Although some of them do it because they want to feel important and special by pretending to have powers that they don't have. I offer to pay any psychic at the fair $5,000 if they would tell me what I was thinking, or predict the future before it happened, or move something with only mind powers. The only catch was they had to do it on camera. Why? Because the camera doesn't lie. It shows us what's really there. If the psychics really have powers, you'd think they would want to do something to get the $5,000. Watch what happened. They got angry and asked us to leave. Why is that? Why am I not welcome, sir?
I am asking you to leave, sir.
Why?
Raising hell.
It's good enough. Just leave.
Why is that?
I'm asking you two to leave also, even if you are camera crew.
Okay, do me a favor. Just get a last shot right there. You won't let them shoot a picture of the solicitation sign? Why do you think they forced us to leave? The answer is simple. They don't really have powers. In 15 years of watching people who say they have psychic mind powers, I've never found a real psychic. As a matter of fact, in every case, the person was either faking it, there really wasn't a power, or the person's mind wasn't well, and they only thought they had a power that they didn't have. Well, you may ask, if the psychics don't really have powers, why do people go to see them? And that's a good question. First, most people don't know that they can be tricked by someone who says that they have powers. And second, most people want to believe that somehow our brains can have special powers. There are even games people play where they pretend to have powers, evil powers that aren't good games to play. One game is called the Ouija board. When people use the Ouija board, they put their hands on what is called the planchette. Then they move their hands around on the board that has letters and the words yes and no. People believe that a spirit will help them spell out words that will tell them something important and answer yes and no questions. Scientists know it is the person moving the planchette and not a spirit, but it's dangerous to pretend that a spirit is in you. Another game that's best to leave alone is Dungeons and Dragons. In this game, people pretend they're witches and sorcerers and that they kill and hurt people. You might ask why you shouldn't play with one of these games, say in your home or at a friend's house. Well, anytime that you pretend that there's an evil spirit in you or that you're killing somebody else, you run the risk that you might be messing up your own mind or someone else's. And in many cases, kids have either killed each other or killed themselves by pretending to play these kinds of games. If you or a friend have a game like this in your house, throw it out and get rid of it. When you have to pretend that you have an evil power in order to play a game, it's not the kind of game you should play. There are plenty other games to play. Games that are lots of fun and no chance of anyone getting hurt or hurting others. Remember this man who claimed he could move things without touching them? Well, he told me that he used to pretend that he had an imaginary Chinese teacher who taught him how to have mind powers. You see, everything he did was a clever trick. I produced a television special, Psychic Confession, in which I showed how he made pencils move, caused pages of a telephone book to turn over, and even made a dollar bill rotate on the head of a pin under a glass fish tank. How did he do it? by blowing little puffs of air that no one could see. The pencil, which is balanced on the edge of the table, turns by exhaling a gentle puff of air on the tabletop. By the time the air moves along the table and hits the pencil, his head is already turned. The puff of air is also what made the pages of the telephone book turn over. The turning bill under the glass fish tank was the cleverest of his tricks. Heydrich did it by blowing on the tabletop. The air slipped under a crack where the tank didn't meet the table flush, causing the bill to turn. His tricks were so convincing that he fooled most everyone, newspaper reporters, lawyers, doctors, and even a scientist who wrote a paper stating that Heydrich really had powers. This is the reason we should never believe someone has a power just because we hear about him on television or read about him in the newspaper. Remember, even good reporters can be fooled. That's the reason I take a camera crew and we film people who say that they have powers. If they really have powers, we'll actually be able to see their powers on camera. And if not, they get caught cheating and sometimes go to jail. Now let's watch some good tricks where nobody pretends to have a power. What I'd like you to do is to take this salt shaker and take off the top. Remove the top. That's good. Those hands do that perfectly. Give her another hand for doing that. That was great. And I want you to poke your thumb down in the middle of the handkerchief. Poke it down, all the way in. You can take it out now. That's right. As a matter of fact, take this back with you. There you go. Go ahead, pour a little bit of salt in the center of the handkerchief. Go ahead. Oh, a little bit more. Go ahead, pour some more in. A little bit more. Okay, that's good. Make sure it's all in the center. Matter of fact, you poured 2 grains too many in there. 1, 2, matter of fact, those 3. We'll give you the third one back. What I'd like you to do is to blow lightly on the handkerchief. Blow. I said blow, not spit. Go ahead, do it again. Very good. And you know what happens to the salt? It vanishes. It's gone. Now, do you know where it is, Trace? Do you have any idea where it is?
No.
No idea at all? Would you like to know?
Yeah.
It's right up here. No, look, right here.
Oh.
Can you see the zipper?
Yeah.
See, there's a zipper. You unzip the pocket of air and you reach in, you take it out like that. Do you see me take it out?
Yeah.
Put your hand out, like this, and we pour it into your hand like that. Look at that. Huh? I have a little guy here. Can you hear him?
No.
That's because he's not there. You fold him in like this and this and like this. Now wake him up. You go ahead. Pat him. Wake him up. Say, wake up.
Wake up.
Did you feel him wake up? You didn't?
Nope.
Watch. Something's going to happen. Now, there's nothing under there, is there?
No.
No magnets. No threads. No koala bears. Something's beginning to grow. It's growing. I think it's getting bigger. What is your name again?
Ashley.
Ashley, I want to make sure you don't forget it during this thing, because this is weird. It's look at how big it's getting. As a matter of fact, he looks real big, doesn't he? But you know what? There's nothing there. He's gone. Thank you. I'll tell you what. Let's do something with time. I want you to think of an hour on the clock face. In other words, if you're thinking of 2 o'clock, you'd remove 2 cards from the deck. Now, I haven't asked you to select a particular hour, have I?
No.
You've selected the one that you've wanted.
Right.
I want you to take the cards underneath the table, go ahead, and remove the number of cards that corresponds, that matches the hour that you're thinking of. When you got it, let me know and hand me the cards. You got it?
Yeah.
Let me have the cards. Now, if you thought of 3 o'clock, you would have removed 3 cards, right?
Right.
On a clock face, Ash, how many hours are there?
12.
There's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll deal them out in the shape of a clock, just like a clock face. That's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 o'clock. I'll pass my hand over the clock like this. And when I come to the hour, I'll place my hand down. Was that it? Honest, was it 11 o'clock?
Yes.
It was 11 o'clock. Take your cards out. Count them on the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now wait, we're not through yet. We're not through. Each one of these hours is represented by a different card. Isn't that right? Each one's different.
Mm-hmm.
Would you turn that one over, Ashley? And let us see what it is. It's the 9 of hearts. I wonder what this card is.
9 of hearts.
The 9 of hearts. And now let's learn some good tricks. You know, there are people that'll say that they have a power, and they'll try and trick us by doing some kind of a trick, you know, making us think they have some sort of a mental power or whatever. Amy's learned a trick that makes it look like she's got real big muscles, and she's going to tackle big Eric Logan. Now, Eric, I want you to put one hand on top of the other like this, and with just Amy's 2 fingers, she's going to push them apart. Now, press as hard as you can, Eric. Ready? Go. What do you think? Amy, why don't you let him have a try now?
Come on, Eric.
Now, Amy, why don't you show him how you did it?
Well, I put my thumb in the center of my hand so you couldn't do it.
Right, so when her hand was like this, and she tried to push him, it wouldn't go, and anybody can do that, right? Amy, would you stand up, and we're going to show him that strength test. Now, Eric, put your hands down at your side, sit up tall like a soldier, feet on the floor, feet together. With one finger, Amy is going to put her finger on the center of your forehead, and you're not going to be able to stand up. You ready? Go. Now try and stand up. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, the reason Eric couldn't stand up was because he's off balance. And all it takes is one finger on the middle of the forehead to keep him off balance so he can't stand up. But the most important part is when you have your friend do the trick, you have them keep their hands at their sides, the feet together, and the feet flat on the floor. And you can't cheat and try and lean forward like this. They have to try and stand straight up, and it's impossible. Amy, thanks for that trick. And now, Trace is going to do a trick for us. Matter of fact, it's kind of like that clock trick I did, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, we had you count the cards with an hour.
Right.
You're going to do this trick for Tracy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Why don't you do it for her?
Now, what I want you to do, Tracy, is right now think of a number between 6 and 15. Okay, I got it. Okay, now what I want you to do is start at the first of your number and count down and around, and then stop at your number. Then with the next coin being as number 1, count back around the circle, and then touch the coin which you land on. Okay? Go ahead. Okay, now my first finger is very sensitive, and it can sense the heat that you gave off when you touch that coin. So here I go. That one.
That was really good. Can we show them how we do it?
Sure.
Okay. What you do is you take the pennies and you make a circle of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. Then you take the other 5 pennies and you make a tail. So depending upon where you're looking, it could look like a 6 or a 9. The secret is no matter what number they select, it will always end up on the same penny. Tracy, what was the number that you selected?
The number I chose was 7.
7. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you have to count back around the circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It ends on this penny. Let's try 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did you notice what Trace did at the very end? As soon as this trick was over, what did he do? He scooped up the pennies, didn't he? Now, why did you do that, Trace?
Because if I didn't, someone would count back with a different number and try to figure out the trick.
And they'd know that you'd always end up on the same penny.
Right.
So what you do is, when you gather the pennies up and you make your circle again, leave one penny out, and it won't end up on the same penny. Now, when you do this trick for your friends, are you going to tell them it's a trick or it's a power?
Trick.
Okay. Tricks are okay when you tell people they are tricks. This next story is a fascinating one about tricks and powers. How many of you have an older brother? Anybody have an older brother? Eric, you have an older brother?
Yes,
You do? How old is he?
11.
Does he play baseball?
Yes,
He does? Is he pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, imagine you have an older brother, and he's kind of a klutz when he plays baseball, and he has a broken arm. Now you have another older brother, and he comes home from college, and he has a friend that he said scientists are actually testing him to see if he actually has some kind of a psychic mind power. So let's say this fella comes over for dinner. You're probably going to want to ask him if he's got some kind of a power or not. Let's supposing you ask him and he says, well, the scientists think that somehow my mind can manipulate matter and cause it to change. And you say, well, what do you mean? And so everyone's sitting around the table and he takes out a little glass of water and he sets it down. He places his hands over and he starts moving his hand over it like this, and he closes his eyes and he's concentrating, and all of a sudden his hand starts shaking and the water starts bubbling, and boom, it changes to yellow. And he says, it's now ginger ale. Now, if you went ahead and drank it and it was ginger ale, what would you think? Kyle, what would you think it was? Would you think it was a trick or it's a power?
It's a trick.
A trick? Very good. So now you go over and you're sitting and thinking, you think, I'm going to ask him to do something else. So he says, okay, I can think of something else I can do, and he tells your brother to come over, and he's the one that has the cast on the arm. He reaches over, puts the hand on your brother's cast. Your brother's kind of the klutz, remember? He slid into third base, broke his elbow, and so he's got this cast on his arm. He puts his hand on the cast, and he closes his eyes, and he's concentrating, and his hand starts shaking, and all of a sudden, everyone hears a little pop. And your brother goes, ooh, I felt something. And you say, what happened? And he says, I don't know, I felt something. And then the man says, your arm's now healed. Well, I don't know about you, but I'd want to check it out and go to who? Where would be the best place to go?
Doctor.
Or go to a doctor, right? So you go to the doctor, and the doctor takes the x-ray, and you find out the arm is healed. Now what would you think? Ooh, that's kind of weird, right? So you talk to him a little bit more, and he says, you know what? The scientists actually think that if I was to die and my brain was in a certain state, or if I was thinking about certain things, the doctor said that they believe I might actually be able to bring myself back to life. Now, I don't know about you, but I would tell him, look, I'll believe you if you'll die first, and then you come back to life, and then I'll believe you. Am I right? In other words, you wouldn't want to just believe it because somebody said it. This story that I just told you is the exact same story that took place 2,000 years ago. Jesus was able to change what? Water into wine. He was able to heal the sick, and he actually brought himself back to life. But you know what? Jesus knew that there are people out there who'll try to trick us. So he said, look, I know for some of you it may be hard to believe that I really am the Son of God and that I really rose from the grave and that the only way you can get to heaven is if you believe in me. So he wanted us to use our mind and heart to think about who he really was. There are a lot of people who say they have powers who are faking it. We've not only learned how some tricks work that look like they're powers, but we've also seen that all of us can be fooled. That's the reason it's important that we don't believe something just because we see it on television or read about it in the newspaper. We have to check out the facts. And when we don't know how to check out the facts, we have to find someone we trust who can help us. Remember, in over 15 years, I have never found a person who has real mind powers, what some people call psychic powers or ESP. And kids, games where people pretend to have spirits in them or kill people, get rid of them. Throw them out. There are plenty of other great games to play. But you know what? I do believe there are real supernatural powers. Powers that don't come from our mind, but powers that come from God or Satan. You see, God's powers are good. He knows what we're thinking, and he also knows what's going to happen to us in the future. Now, some people will try and trick us and tell us their powers come from God. Before we believe them, we have to check it out. Ask your pastor or a Sunday school teacher. They'll be glad to help you, because you see, Satan will try and trick us. He can't read our minds, and he can't predict the future. But through people like psychics, he'll try and trick us. But when we have Jesus in our hearts, we don't have to be afraid of Satan's powers, because God will protect us. When Jesus died and came back to life and then went back to heaven, he knew that it would be hard for some of us to believe that he really came back to life, because there are so many people out there faking that they really have powers. That's why he said that if you want to believe in him, he wants us to check out the facts and find out how he died and came back to life. I did, and that's why I asked him into my heart. And he's always been a friend that I can trust. And the Bible, well, it's never steered me wrong on how to live my life and love and help others. After you watch this last trick, why don't you give it some thought and check out the facts about Jesus? Until the next time, I'm your friend, Danny Corum. Now, we've already learned that there are a lot of people that say they can read our minds and have powers that don't. This last trick that we're going to do, and it is a trick, even though it won't look like it's a trick, will look just like I can read your mind, in other words, tell you what you're thinking, or predict what is going to happen before it happens. Are you ready? You have 5 symbols, Eric. You have a circle, a square, a cross, 3 wavy lines, and a star. I want you to look them over. Now, let me ask you, look at me first. Did I tell you which one of these to think of? And you don't even know at this time which one you're going to think of. So I didn't discuss any of this with you before we began, did we? Ready? Go ahead, look at the symbols. Now look at me. I'm going to try and guess which one of these you selected. Now, when I write on the board, I'm going to move my hand around so you can't really tell what I'm writing. Okay? Let me have a card. We'll place a card over my selection. You don't know what it is that I've written down. Now, Eric, would you tell us which one you chose? And speak up so we can hear you.
The square.
You chose the square. Point to it, please. You chose that one. Would you draw a square underneath mine? Draw a big square right underneath there. Very good. That kind of hurt. Your name is Barrett. Barrett, we have a book that's a big favorite around our house. It's The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. It's from the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to try and guess on a letter now, just a letter. And there's what, 12 letters in the alphabet, right? Mm-hmm. No, there's 26. You're shaking your head. Yes, it's 26. Let me think. All right, I'm going to write something down. Okay, let me have another card. Now, Barrett, I'd like you to go ahead and open your book to any page. Now, do you want to use that one or do you want to change?
It's fine.
That one's fine? I'd like you to take your finger like this, and anywhere you want, push it down on a word. What word did you pick?
But.
Excuse me?
But.
But. Is that what it says? Does it say that? Oh, B-U-T. I see. But. Big capital B-U-T. Which one of the letters do you want to choose? B, U, or T?
B.
Louder?
B.
B. Very good. And I want you to write a B right underneath mine, right? Okay, and that's a capital B. Now the last one's Nicole's. I'm going to try, this is the toughest one. Let's see, I'm going to try and make a guess on this. All right, and if I can have this, and we'll cover it like that. Place it on the easel so everyone could see it. We have a deck of cards here. Would you step forward, please? And I'm going to push this forward over here. This is a giant deck of cards, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The reason we're using big cards is, one, so we know that I can't do anything funny with the cards, you know, like palming the cards like I showed before. And also so everyone can see that these cards are all different. They're all different, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, take a look at them. Make sure they're all different. Just spread through them, right? Now square them up. If you'll step behind the easel, Nicole.
Okay.
I'm going to spread these out, just like we were, say, at a dinner table, and I had borrowed your deck of cards. I want you to take your right forefinger, hold it above the cards like this. Mm-hmm. Slowly move your hand across the cards, and anytime you want, I want you to push your finger down on a card, anywhere. Right there? Mm-hmm. Now, had you gone one further, you would have selected the 3 of spades. Let's slide this back. Which one did you pick? Turn it over so they can see it. Uh-huh. Turn it over. Which one is it? The 6 of spades. The one before it was the Queen of diamonds. But you chose the 6 of spades. Did you know you were going to pick the 6 of spades from the 52 in the deck?
No.
I didn't either. Now, if you'll, or maybe I didn't, if you'll go ahead and write your card down underneath where I had written a card down before.
A 6?
6 of spades, Just write 6S. Oh, that's a neat way to do it. I've never seen it done like that. It looks like 6 to the S power.
Yeah.
6 of spades. That's your card. If you hold that in front of you, you selected the word but and the letter B, capital B. And you selected
Square.
the square. Now, if I guess yours, that's not really that big of a deal because you have how many? Selections, 1 out of 5, right? Let's see how I did. Did I get it?
Yeah.
Huh? Is that the square? Mm-hmm. The next one. Now, Barrett, this one's tough. Because not only did you pick a B, you picked a what kind of B?
Capital B.
A capital B. Let's see how we did.
Okay.
Capital B. My handwriting looks just about as bad as yours does, right? The last one's the 6 of spades. Now, how many cards are in a deck of cards?
52.
52. That would be totally what? Awesome. Am I right if we got that one right? You picked the 6 of spades. You wrote down the 6 of spades. Would you remove your card? 6 of spades. How about it? And key question coming up. Was it a trick or a power?
A trick.
Trick. Very good. And don't forget it.
Hey!